my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Such a sexy, pretty little thing. This paper bitch, you got me sprung with your tongue ring. And I ain't gonna lie, cause your loving gets me high. So to keep you by my side, there's nothing that I won't try. Butterflies in her eyes and her looks to kill. Time is passing, I'm asking, could this be real?
Do you remember the name of this band?
It is...
Everybody remembers the song. It was their one hit.
Crazy Town.
Crazy
Town. That's right. A frontman with a young man named Seth Binzer. He went by Shifty Shellshock. He died yesterday. 49 years old. I can't believe the guy made it that long. This guy had trouble from the jump. And that's kind of what got them in front of people. You know, they're very much in your face. But this song was basically all they had. They had...
well, because the rest of their stuff was a lot harder. And then they had this pop hit.
Yes, and so when people would see them...
coming-of-age movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they sold... I mean, it was off their first album, and they sold a couple million copies of that. But after, they couldn't keep that going. A lot of fights in the band. He had a hard time getting along with the other guys. You remember a couple of years ago, we were watching the video. These guys get booked for a gig in, like, South Carolina, and he and the guitar player fighting each other. They're, like, brawling backstage. And they bro-hugged and made up, I guess. But wasn't he on... he was on one of those Dr. Drew shows, like Sober House?
Yeah,
or
I think so.
The Surreal Life or something like that. So...
I don't remember which one, but yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of trying to make the most of whatever pop culture cachet he had. But, you know, you look at the guy and you figure out he'd been dealing with some stuff.
A few years ago, he went viral because he was performing this song at a Guitar Center.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? And he was missing teeth.
Yeah, he was in bad shape.
Did not look good.
Yeah, so, you know, subsequent albums didn't really do much for them. But they would get the occasional gig here and there. But they haven't determined the cause of death. But I think maybe, you know, you can infer what happened. But he was...
natural causes.
Died at his home in L.A. 49 years old. And again, I can't believe he made it to almost 50.
According to Alan, everything is natural.
Everything is natural. Natural causes. Everything comes from nature, right? So in one way or another, everything is natural causes when you die. So R.I.P. Shifty Shellshock. I met the guy one time when this song was blowing up. I think I had just gotten to Pittsburgh and they were doing a show for us, and I talked to the guy for a few minutes. And a nice guy. I mean, he couldn't have been nicer. But, you know, kind of the way he described his life at the time and the way the band was just starting to blow up, you're like, oh, this is going to end very poorly for this guy. But again, I'm glad that he made it to 49 because, I mean, you know, 25 years ago talking to the guy, you're like, oh, this guy's not going to make the next 5 years. But Butterfly, of course, was their big, big song. If you listen to us on iHeartRadio and you do it from out of state, tell me where. I'm thinking of our Chicagoland bureau chiefs because Mary's at Zany's tomorrow night in Old Town. Joy is out in Lombard.
Mm-hmm.
If Joy was listening, that's probably 45 minutes into the city.
You can do it, Joy.
Andrea lives in Riverside. That's that's southwest suburbs, but she could make it up there in 30 minutes.
Can do it.
To see you?
Actually, Joy, do me a favor if you are listening. You're on my mailing list, right? And if you're not on my mailing list, you should sign up. I sent you an email with information. I don't know if anybody's getting these emails because I send them out every city I go to. If anybody's within, I'd say 75 miles, I'll send them an email and be like, hey, I'm going to be in your town this weekend, whatever. So, Joy, since we know you listen to this show, check your email and tell me if you got it.
You don't get a receipt or anything like that.
I don't get anything, and I've never had anybody respond to it. So I'm wondering, not even like a, hey, thanks, or see you this weekend. So I'm wondering if maybe it's always going to spam, and I'm wasting my time sending these emails anyway.
Right.
But I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well, again, those are just the people for whom it would be a quick trip to see Mary. Any of our bureau chiefs could go see Mary.
Yeah, Gaylord.
In Chicago. Put your money where your mouth is, Gaylord.
Quick flight.
Yeah,
40
drive.
minutes?
Just drive.
Yeah.
It's 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm driving.
That only costs $300 or $400 in your Bronco.
Not a big deal.
And there's large amounts of construction in and around greater Chicagoland area right now. But
And I'm in Detroit this weekend, Royal Oak, Michigan. So Cleveland people, get in your cars, drive to Detroit, and come see me. I don't understand what the big deal is.
I feel like we've got Detroit people too.
A ton of Detroit
I was thinking we
people.
had somebody in Royal Oak, but no. But Brent listens in Leavenworth, Kansas. I don't know how far of a trip that is.
Probably
but,
pretty close.
Who else? Adam listens in Elmore, Vermont. That would be a long trip.
That's a long trip. That's too much.
Colleen is our new bureau chief in Sarasota. Christian listens in Tulsa, Oklahoma. David and Megan are in D.C. And when do you go back to New York?
The 7th. The 6th.
The 6th.
What day are we back on air?
We're back the
8th. So then I'm driving. I have a show the 7th, so I'm driving back the 6th, next Saturday.
Well, when you get back, you're going to have 2 fewer coworkers.
Uh-oh. Who got fired?
Carolina and Greg T.
I don't know what
over
station?
at KTU.
Really?
The morning show. Yeah, they blew him out after 5 years.
Wait a minute.
You know her, don't you? Or him?
I don't know. I think that might be the people who
That means there's an extra studio.
Well, here's what I was going to say. There is a morning show. I don't know if it's this one, but there's a morning show somewhere in New York that the 2 people hate each other so much.
It's these 2.
That the guy has to use my studio, which
It's these
is
2.
when I get in there and stuff doesn't work.
It's them.
So that makes sense then, because I was like, why is everything messed up every day? And they're like, we have 2 people who can't even be in the same room together.
I think it's them.
They fired both of them.
They're at KTU. Well, here's the thing. These are just 2 former Elvis Duran people that they put on the air together because it's the same company in the same building.
Yeah.
But like that dude, he had been on the Elvis Duran show for like 20 years.
Did
He's
he
like,
have a
all
nickname?
right, time for me to hang out my own shingle. Huh?
Did he have a nickname? Because
I don't
everyone
know.
on there has nicknames.
I don't know. But the Carolina, she'd been around for a minute. But they teamed the 2 of them up, and it didn't really work.
When did this break?
This morning.
Okay, because you go to click on it, and it's already off the iHeart website.
Of course. They wipe you off the
Yeah,
face
yeah.
of the earth, boy.
They don't mess around.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So KTU's had a hard time getting something going there for a long time. They used to have a guy named Cubby Bryant
They play music.
who was there. Yeah.
It's not a talk show in the morning.
No, it's music.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, if people aren't paying attention, then that's tough. Especially when you were sitting there for a long, long time, on that Elvis Duran show. So anyway, when you get back, maybe you can take one of their spots on the email list.
Yeah. You got 2 less on the New York City email.
Yeah, that's right.
I've never seen this girl.
Carolina Bermudez.
She's cute.
Yeah, I mean, she's done a lot of New York television, and she's been on the radio for quite a bit.
A
And
lot of her
they,
stuff's like on E!
they
and-
teamed her up with this guy who had come over from the Elvis Duran show.
Why'd they get fired? Because they couldn't get along?
I don't think anybody's listening to that show.
Oh.
So they'll probably find some other show they can just plug in there, and that's the way the business works.
No, because everyone in New York says like they do not track. That's not, you cannot put, this is what I was told, is that specifically in New York you can't put anyone in out of market. That
No,
if
not
you-
out of market, but somebody that they can put in other markets from New York. If you take a show that already has some affiliates and you go, hey, want to come to New York?
This
I
get what you're
it's
saying.
pure speculation. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
just they may do that. I don't know. Because if you're going to find 2 new people and slam them together, why not just work with these 2 and go, let's figure out how to make this work? Unless it was a matter of them going, I can't work with her, I can't work with him.
And then they both just don't work there anymore?
I don't know. I mean, I can't see anybody voluntarily giving up a morning gig in New York.
Well, that's why I'm like, I'll send an email and be like, hey, give me this job. And then I'll be like, no, just kidding. I can't wake up at 4:30 in the morning.
By the way.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I missed a dentist appointment at 7:30 this morning. 'cause
Oh,
I
you
was-
missed that appointment?
It's too early, dude. I shut my
But
alarm
it's a
off.
dentist appointment.
It's just a cleaning. It's not like
you
it
know
was
it's important to
anything-
get your teeth cleaned, right?
I understand that. I just
yeah.
had them cleaned in December, which I understand was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But I can also get them cleaned in New York. It was just so early.
All right, no, listen.
I woke up and I shut my alarm off and I was like, I'll get up in 5 minutes. And I woke up at 10:30 and I was like, sorry guys. My bad.
Woke up at 10:30. Oh man.
So what I'm saying is, if I could cancel, actually, no show a dentist appointment at 7:30, I could probably do morning radio.
But how would you do that?
Look at your face.
No, but how would you do that?
What do you mean?
Well, if you're on stage till 1 a.m.
No,
or
this is
whatever.
a complete joke, dude. I sleep till noon.
Oh, I
There's
don't know.
no
I
way.
know plenty of comics
There's-
that've done
yeah, I mean,
morning radio.
way.
Jimmy Norton.
Jim Norton has done
And
it
he
for
hated
25
it.
years.
And he said you never get used to it. You're
Yeah.
tired every day. It's the worst type
But-
of life you can have.
Yeah, but
He made a lot of money doing
you
it.
never get used to morning radio at all.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, I take naps." Like when I've done mornings, I can't take naps.
That's what I'm saying.
And I also can't go to bed at 7 o'clock like I'm in the 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Like when I first met Gwen, I was doing mornings and I wanted to hang out with her all the time. So we'd go out. I was just talking to her over the weekend. I go, "Boy, I don't know how I did it, but I did it." I mean, we'd be out till like 1.
Yeah.
I'd get up at 4:30. I was getting like 3 hours sleep a night.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
It is.
I don't function on less than like 9, 10. Dude, if I get 7 hours of sleep, I'm a miserable person.
Wait, you can't. Getting a lot of sleep is good. You can't function on less than 10 hours of sleep?
Not that I can't. That's not the right term. Not that I can't function. I am very bitchy. Like tired and hungry are two emotions I cannot. Is that an emotion? Feeling? Tired and hungry?
Yeah, those are I don't think they're emotions.
State
but
of
yeah.
being?
Sure.
Those are two states of being that are very, very difficult for me to not be a complete ass
Huh.
to everyone. If
Well,
I'm
no,
tired or
I get
hungry.
it. Like I'm never hungry, but I can be tired. Yeah.
You get bitchy?
If
When
I'm
I'm-
tired,
yeah.
it's got to take a lot. I have to be like exhausted
Yeah.
for me to.
Be real cranky.
Yeah, but that's just because like I got a 8-year-old running around, so
Yeah.
it's But yeah, it would take a lot for. But it's been done. People have done it.
Ugh.
Time management. Not ideal.
No. When I get my spots from the stand and they're like, you have a 2:15 a.m. on a Tuesday night.
Yeah,
And I'm like, okay, I have to
Oh,
get work
cool.
in 2 hours.
Yep.
Like, absolutely not.
that's right. Damn it, Alan, I've been getting up at 4:30 a.m. for 20 years. I can't even force myself to sleep past 6. That's Noah. He's one of our Pittsburgh bureau chiefs. Well, I know that if I get up at 5:30 in the morning, I know that if I will either wake up before my alarm, or if let's say I didn't set an alarm, I would never sleep past 6.
That's crazy.
Well, I think your brain just gets used to whenever you normally wake up. And they say you're supposed to wake up the same time every day, like 7 days a week. So like on the weekends, I won't set an alarm, but I'll still wake up 6:05.
So sleeping into you is 7:30.
Oh, yeah.
You'd wake up at 7:30 like I'm so relaxed.
Oh, no. I never wake up I never wake up feeling
Rested.
relaxed. Well, sometimes, but it's like, no, I don't. I'll just wake up at 6 o'clock.
Brian gets up. He's a garbage man. So he gets up and he's out of the bed by like 5 a.m. He's out of the house by 5:30. And every day. And there are some Saturdays I'll call them. Like if I haven't heard from him and his daughter on a Saturday morning, I'll call him at like 11:30. And he'll be like, sorry, we just woke up. Because he's like, I'm exhausted. It's a
Yeah.
physical job. I do 60 hours a week.
Yes.
And then he will sleep all day, like take a nap on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he's the kind of person who needs to catch up. Which I know they say you can't catch up on
Well, and
sleep,
but it can't hurt to try either.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm not doing manual labor, obviously, but
you're doing mental labor.
I'm doing mental labor. Also, I have to go to a break here, but I did want to mention somebody very quick because he was a big deal in radio, and I think some people of a certain generation might remember him here. He has lived. A guy named Tom Kent passed away, and he was 69. He had had cancer for a couple of years, and he lived in suburban Cleveland. I'm not sure which one, but I know that he lived out here for like the last 30 years. He wasn't from here, but this was a guy back in the day who was a big deal in radio. I know he worked in Dallas and Philly and here and Pittsburgh and Miami. He was one of those journeyman jocks, but he was syndicated for a long time. I just remember when I was a kid, he was on WLS in Chicago, which was like an 80, it was 890 AM. But back in the day, all those AM stations were music stations, they were pop stations. And I was a kid, but I remember Tom Kent on WLS. It was a radio station that you could hear states away because it was AM. he was here in Cleveland a long time ago on a station that used to be called WGCL. It's now, what is GCL now? It's NCX now. If you're familiar with WNCX, it used to be WGCL. And this guy, Tom Kent, because I remember Truckin' Tom Kent is what they call it. And so he'd go, Truckin' Tom, Cookin' Kent. One of those old boss type jocks. And he was a big, big deal for a long time. I didn't even realize that he lived out here until somebody mentioned it to me. But this is a guy who had one of those careers in this business that you can be really happy about. I mean, we're talking 70s, 80s, 90s. This guy worked for every goddamn radio station in the country, every big radio station. And I saw a thing this morning that Tom Kent had died. And I only met him one time, very briefly. He was meeting my program director at the time when I was on the air in Chicago many, many years ago. And I just kind of shook his hand and said hello. But he was, back in the day, Tom Kent was a big, big deal. And I didn't realize that he made his home in this area. But if he had been around still, he probably could have taken that KTU gig. He could have been on there. So anyway, that's a real bummer. So if Tom Kent's family listens to this program, that was a very, very talented dude and a well-liked guy. I got a break. You want to send a text 35192. You can listen anywhere you are on the iHeartRadio app.